The Mueller investigation comes to an end. Jared Kushner uses a private messaging service for government business, and attorneys for Robert Kraft file a motion to stop the release of a surveillance video. All this and more on this episode of Hawk TV News. Hello, and welcome back from Spring Break, Hawks. I'm Ann Toner.
And I'm Donald Kohler. Attorney General William Barr announced that Special Counsel Robert Mueller confirmed Russia attempted to interfere with the last U.S. presidential election, but the investigation did not find Donald Trump's campaign guilty of conspiring with Russia. However, Mueller's investigation made no determination in regard to the possible obstruction of justice. Despite that information, Donald Trump declared the findings a total exoneration. House Democrats are now asking that Mueller's full report, and not just the short summary, be released. The Mueller investigation has been a dark cloud on the presidency. So far, it has led to the indictments and convictions of several Trump associates and spawned related ongoing investigations.
According to House Oversight Committee Chair Elijah Cummings, Senior Presidential Advisor Jared Kushner used WhatsApp for government business, including communication with foreign leaders. While Cummings could not say whether classified information was shared, Kushner's use of the messaging app was confirmed by his attorney, Abby Lowell. Cybersecurity experts have expressed concerns that any sensitive information communicated via WhatsApp could be vulnerable to hackers and foreign governments.
Attorneys for Robert Kraft filed a motion to stop the public release of surveillance video showing him at a Florida day spa where he reportedly solicited an employee for prostitution. The motion asks for the courts to not release footage of Kraft and other defendants in the spa receiving paid sexual acts. Meanwhile, a spokesperson for Kraft stated that he will not be accepting a plea deal from prosecutors that would drop misdemeanor charges in exchange for fines, community service, and admission of guilt. Kraft was charged with 2 counts of solicitation back in February following an investigation of prostitution in massage parlors and day spas.
After months of deliberation, the legality of recreational marijuana was canceled in the state Senate. Democrats were unable to rally the support for the campaign organized by Governor Phil Murphy. The failure has become a setback for the New Jersey governor, and supporters of the legislation are disappointed with the outcome. It is still unclear if leaders in the Senate will revive marijuana legalization efforts.
A driver working with a team of journalists with NBC News was killed in an explosion in eastern Syria. Noah Oppenheim, the president of NBC News, stated that a device had exploded near the group, killing the driver but not injuring the rest of the team. The explosion happened after the United States-backed militia fighting the Islamic State in Syria announced the end of the jihadist control of any territory in Iraq and Syria. NBC has been one of the many news channels reporting on the battle to push the Islamic State out of its last patch of territory.
A Florida man pleaded guilty to sending pipe bombs to CNN and prominent critics of President Donald Trump in a wave of attacks. 57-year-old Cesar Sayoc could get life in prison with 65 counts, including using weapons of mass destruction and mailing explosives with intent to kill. During the midterm elections, Sayoc sent rudimentary bombs to 16 targets, including Bill and Hillary Clinton, former Vice President Joe Biden, several members of Congress, and former President Barack Obama.
Authorities stated that a New Jersey woman who accidentally smothered her 3-month-old son to death after a night of heavy drinking was sentenced to prison. The Burlington County Prosecutor's Office sentenced 39-year-old Melissa Johnson to 4 years. Johnson pleaded guilty to endangering the welfare of a child in exchange for the sentence.
We now go to Vincent Caranta for a gaming news roundup.
What's going on, guys? We got some pretty important gaming announcements recently, so I said we'd get right into the news. It looks like Microsoft, Sony, and Nintendo all have a new competitor, and it's none other than Google. That's right, the company has announced its first ever gaming service known as Google Stadia. The main selling point is that Google's technology advantage will allow gamers to be connected more closely by letting anyone play games on any device anywhere through Google Chrome. To be more specific, people can be playing a game after watching a video within a matter of 5 seconds by clicking a link. In addition, progress can be saved between multiple devices, and the only piece of hardware available is an optional controller that can connect to Google servers. Critics seem to be intrigued by the news, claiming that Stadia is very similar to the now defunct OnLive service. There's also much skepticism over whether Stadia will be able to run games at 60 frames per second in 4K compared to OnLive, which ran games at less. Google will be making more announcements regarding Stadia later this summer. Now, all Halo fans rejoice, because 343 Industries announced that the Master Chief Collection will be coming to PC. In case anyone is wondering why this is a big deal, it basically means that every major Halo installment in the franchise will now be available for players who moved on from Xbox to PC, and will hopefully introduce new players who never experienced the series before. 343 stated that each game included in the collection will be released separately over time, starting with Halo Reach, the newest addition to the MCC, followed by the rest of the games in chronological order of release. Microsoft has yet to announce when exactly they will be coming to PC. Finally, Alice has officially revealed Persona 5, the Royal, for PlayStation 4. Previously teased as Persona 5R, the newest title in the Persona series has a new trailer that shows a girl with red hair standing in Tokyo's Shibuya district. Not much else has been revealed outside of this, but Alice will be releasing more info at the Persona Super Live concert in April. The Persona series is widely regarded as one of the best RPGs ever made, so fans are hoping that this newest installment will live up to the gold standards that Alice has created for themselves. Well, that looks like that does it for this week's Gaming Roundup, so until next time, back to you guys at the desk.
We have to take a short break, but stay tuned for more Hawk TV news.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, "Read your lease. No pets allowed." My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, they can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh is returning to teaching law at George Mason University as a visiting professor. The Antonin Scalia Law School announced that Kavanaugh will co-teach a course on the origins and creation of the U.S. Constitution. The university explained it as a rare opportunity for students to learn from a U.S. Supreme Court justice.
Apple debuted its video streaming service named Apple TV Plus. Apple TV Plus is a subscription service with only Apple original content, ranging from big names like Oprah Winfrey and Steven Spielberg. In addition, there will be an updated Apple TV app, which will offer add-on paid subscriptions to stream movies from shows like Apple's partners, like HBO and Hulu. This app will also be accessible through iOS, Mac, and other platforms. The price of the service has yet to be released.
A student at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, took his own life. It was the second apparent suicide in the span of a week involving a student survivor of the shooting. Many of the survivors of the massacre have been diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder and survivor's guilt. Officers in Coral Springs, Florida, responded to the incident that the death is still under investigation.
Anti-Brexit protesters are demanding that Britain's government holds a new referendum on whether the country should leave the European Union. A recent petition demanding the government revoke Article 50 and hold a second Brexit referendum surpassed 5 million signatures on the heel of a string of legislative defeats for Prime Minister Theresa May's Conservative coalition government. Prime Minister May stated that she will ditch plans to put the deal to another vote on her withdrawal if not enough members of Parliament support it.
Ichiro Suzuki has retired from professional baseball after 27 seasons. The iconic outfielder made his final at-bat during the Major League Baseball opening series in Tokyo and announced his retirement in a press conference shortly after. The 45-year-old stated he made the decision before arriving in Japan, where the place where his career began, and felt like his time had come. Suzuki spent the bulk of his time in the MLB playing for the Seattle Mariners, but was unable to advance his team to any World Series.
Filmmaker Jordan Peele's horror movie Us earned a record $70.3 million in its opening weekend. Us landed the third biggest horror movie opening ever behind Stephen King's It and last year's Halloween sequel, but was number one in an original horror title. Us tells a story about an African-American woman who returns to her childhood home with her 2 children and husband, where they face terrifying and uncanny doppelgangers of themselves.
We now go to Mariah Laster for the latest in entertainment news.
Hey guys, no Michaela here, but it's Mariah here with your latest entertainment news. Starting you off with celebrity news. Ariana Grande was spotted in LA with her ex-boo, Big Sean, only a few months after Big Sean and Jhené Aiko broke up. Back in November, Ariana's Thank You Next music video was released, and in her burn book, she wrote that Sean could still get it. Then, in December, Big Sean and Jhené Aiko broke up. Soon after, Ariana made another song called Break Up With Your Girlfriend, I'm Bored. Fans suspected that Ariana's song was aimed at Jhené's relationship, since Ariana and Big Sean were ironically spotted together shortly after. Now, Jhené had a huge tattoo of Big Sean's face on her arm, which she quickly covered up. Another relationship gone wrong. So moving on to another celebrity, Miley Cyrus posted an old picture of her on the way to be Hannah Montana in honor of the 13th anniversary of her show. Fans, of course, were reminiscing, and everyone's childhood self shed at least one tear. Clearly, it was a great show that will forever be missed. But to end things off with movie news, here's something interesting you may want to see. The live-action Dora the Explorer movie will be in theaters this August, and the official trailer was shown at the Kids' Choice Awards. Be sure to check it out. Well, that's all the entertainment news we have for you today. Thank you. Back to you at the desk.
Netflix is testing a mobile-only subscription plan that would cost only $3.63 a month in select countries, including India. Not all users will see the new plan since it's currently a test and may not become a permanent option. Netflix said in a statement that they are always looking for more ways to make the service more accessible and enjoyable.
Monster energy drinks have been recalled in Canada. There is a concern that pieces of glass can be found in the brand's Café Monster salted caramel energy drink. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency is investigating and advises consumers to call Monster's customer service line if they find glass in their beverages.
Did Colton find love, and who got the final rose? We now go to Matt DeLuca with a recap on the season finale of The Bachelor.
What's up, Bachelor Nation? Back in January, we all embarked on a journey with former NFL player Colton Underwood, as he looked for love, and let me speak for America when I say it was quite the journey. This season of The Bachelor went down as one of the most unpredictable seasons in the show's history. Like past seasons, this one still had the traditional rivalries and arguments that make it so entertaining. Whether it be Nicole versus Onyeka or Demi versus Half the House, the show had more fights than a UFC championship event. A common theme was whether or not some of the girls were there for fame as opposed to love, as the finger-pointing reached an all-time high about halfway through the season. Following hometown dates, Colton shocked the nation when he did not give a rose to Caitlyn, despite telling her earlier that he was falling in love with her. The turning point of the season, however, came the following week, when Cassie broke up with Colton right before their fantasy suite date, which shook him to the core. In the process, I think she said, "I don't know," more than I did on my midterms. In any case, it prompted Colton to run away and jump an 8-foot fence in what many call the most shocking moment in the show's history. Still in love with Cassie, Colton decided he was not going to give up on it, leading to the emotional breakups with the other 2 women still on the show. He eventually talked with Cassie again, where they decided to take it day by day, and 4 months later, they're happily together. The moral of the story is that this season of The Bachelor set a new standard for love. If you won't jump an 8-foot fence for your significant other, it probably isn't true love. And judging by my lack of athleticism, looks like I'm going to be a lonely man. Back to you guys at the desk.
New Jersey's only drive-in movie theater opened up for the season, giving moviegoers the experience of watching new films in an old-fashioned way. The Del C Drive-In in Vinland opens with films like How to Train Your Dragon, Glass, and Us, which are shown on the drive-in's 2 big screens. Del C was built in 1949, and by 1970, there were approximately 50 drive-ins across the state. Del C is the last of its kind in New Jersey, but the owners and patrons are keeping it alive.
Actor Morgan Freeman is planning to convert his 124-acre ranch in Mississippi into a sanctuary for honeybees. Freeman first showed his interest in beekeeping in a 2014 interview on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon. Freeman says he'll help feed the bees sugar and water while providing a bee-friendly environment. He also says he has no intention of harvesting the honey or disrupting the bees.
We have to take another short break, but stay tuned for more Hawk TV news.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, that can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
We now go to Henya Sarso for the latest edition of Tips on the Go.
Whether you're a college freshman or a college senior, networking is a very important tool, especially for internships or employment. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 simple networking tips to help you network more efficiently. Tip number 1 is to build networking in your everyday routine. The idea of networking can be a little intimidating. However, start building your network during your everyday activities, like while talking to your classmates and professors. Many of your professors can offer valuable information about their past jobs or give advice. Tip number 2 is to take a visit to your campus career center. At Monmouth University, Career Services has trained professionals to help you with resumes, finding internships, and more. Even if you aren't actively looking for this, it doesn't hurt to stop by and learn what's happening in your industry. Tip number 3 is to maintain your networks. Networking is more than collecting business cards and passing out resumes. For example, if you meet someone at a job fair, send them an email and let them know that you appreciate the time that they took to talk to you. Tip number 4 is to use social media to your advantage. Having an online presence is becoming a very important aspect in today's job market. Many employers will search you online before hiring you. So use social media to show off your skills and talents and always keep everything professional. Tip number 5 is to have an open mind. Whether your goal is to get a job, seek more internships, or secure more opportunities, meeting people will get you there. It's mainly up to you to go out there and be helpful to others. Remember not to give up easily because networking is an ongoing process. Well, hopefully these tips will help you network better. That's all for this edition of Tips on the Go. Back to you guys at the desk.
When we return, Orleans Francois has an exciting recap on Monmouth sports.
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self. And I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
Everything starts out small. The things that hurt us, they all start from somewhere. The words we say, the things we do, that can grow into something else. What was small and innocent can become big and sometimes scary. All it takes is one comment, one picture, one video for something to catch fire. But a big problem doesn't need a big response. Not at first. Even if we don't know what to say, the eye emoji can be that first step we take. Let's all pledge to take that first small step together and change the world in a big way. I'm a witness, and so are you.
Listen.
All it took was someone who would insist that I just try.
Suddenly, everything was turned around because they judge you.
You tell them, I don't need this.
No one is going to understand.
Unless they've been through it, how can they?
Then one day you realize
You feel so hopeless.
I need help. I need help.
You feel so hopeless.
Then one day you realize,
unless they've been through it, how can they understand?
I don't need this.
No one's going to judge you.
Suddenly everything was turned around because they insist that I just try.
All it took was someone who would just
listen.
I'll never forget the day our landlord called and said, read your lease. No pets allowed. My owner tells him my dog ate the lease, but that didn't work. And now I'm stuck in a shelter. But this pit bull is ready for a new crib. I'm loving, loyal, and play well with others. So don't be intimidated by all my muscles, because the biggest one I have is my heart. That's right, I said it.
Welcome back, world. Let's find out from Worlds what's going on at Monmouth University concerning sports.
Yes, let's take a look at what the Hawks are doing. The women's tennis team lost to Siena 7-0. The Hawks fell to the Saints in every series in both singles and doubles. The Hawks will play host to LaSalle, hoping to rebound from the previous defeat. The baseball team came away even in a doubleheader, beating out Wagner 6-2 while falling to Seton Hall 12-2. The Hawks' victory against Wagner came at the hands of a strong pitcher performance by freshman Rob Hensey and sophomore Ryan Stecklin, allowing Wagner to score only 2 runs of 5 hits. The second game of the day featured a blowout at the hands of Seton Hall, scoring 12 runs on 14 hits. The Hawks faced off against Hofstra before beginning a 3-game away series against St. Peter's. The softball team defeated Wagner in a doubleheader, shutting them out by 8 runs in the first game and 4 runs in the second. Strong pitcher performances from sophomore Allison Irons and junior Kayla Rosada allowed only 7 hits by Wagner for the entire day. The Hawks will stay home for their next doubleheader against Kent State. Lastly, the bowling team finished their season with a loss to Delaware State in the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference Championship, entering their first MEAC tournament in school history. The team finished 4th in a pool of 6 teams, falling short of securing a spot in the NCAA Championship. For more sports updates, check out The Extra Point right here on Hawk TV. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Werlins. That's all for this week of Hawk TV News. Thank you for joining us. I'm Ann Toner.
And I'm Don Kohler.
Be sure to tune in next time for another edition of Hawk TV News.
The Extra Point is Hawk TV's only sports show, and what I love about The Extra Point is that it allows people to really come on and talk about what they're passionate in, and that's sports.
When I first got here, I didn't really know what to expect. It was really a fun time. This is the most fun I've had in college so far. It's really not as competitive as people will think it is. I've been on air for almost every episode of Extra Point.
Unscripted debate is probably the best format for sports shows today, and I think that's what's growing. So more than anything else, The Extra Point just provides people to come on Hawk TV to talk about what they love, and that's sports.
Tony Lynn, what's it like being a producer?
It's so much fun, especially when I get to work with Matt.
Oh shit, no one wants to work with
You put in a lot of work, try and get your moves right. You want to make the show look as smooth as possible. You don't want choppy zooms in and out. You want to make it look like the camera's not even there. This is my first time at The Extra Point. I'm just saying, I'm coming back now. They've got me hooked.
I control this switcher right here, and I pretty much make the what the director says happen.
Slowly zoom out, and fade to black. Gorgeous. That is how it's done. We make big TV here. We practice, we execute, we get paid.
Nick, that's all right. I throw a couple of 15-second PSAs in there and we're good.
Done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Make sure you get the point.
Bye-bye.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right.
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
So, Triple Scoop is a show that me and my two great friends produce. It's a show about where we talk about entertainment. People call us the entertainment show. We have one segment about movies, one segment about TV, and we have one segment about music. It's literally whatever you want to do, you do it. If you mess up, you mess up. That's what this is for.
After 15 years of smoking, Eva Marie quit. There's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking. Now start screening. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Oh, emojis! I thought the conversation just got dumber.
Ugh, internet trolls, just ignore them.
I like you just the way you are.
I believe in you!
She's a hugger. Give her a squeeze.
Help up the hand.
Ah, there you go.
Thanks, mate.
You're killing